Good evening. By show of hands, how many of you voted in the last presidential election? Right? By show of hands, how many people know what the process is for electing the president and what the Electoral College is? Okay. So to start off, let's start by defining some terms. The Electoral College is a group of what are called electors, which get together to vote for the president. An elector is nominated by the state and has whatever choice they want to vote for president. They don't have to vote for whoever their state chooses as president. Usually they do, but there's no mandatory requirement for them to. When the Electoral College first started, there were several premises that the 1789 convention that wrote the Constitution had when they decided on the Electoral College. One of their premises was a saying that said at the time, the office should seek the man, the man should not seek the office, which basically meant that people wouldn't campaign much for the office. Also, political parties were considered mischievous and were advised against. Also, there were about 4 million people spread across the 1,000-mile eastern seaboard with limited communication that took several days, if not a few weeks, to communicate from one place to the other. So I'm here to talk to you about why the Electoral College should be abolished, because it is no longer pertains to modern society. The 13 states during the writing of the Constitution were very wary of the central government since they had seceded from England, and wanted to make sure that they maintained their state powers and that the central government didn't take over the government. So that being said, they looked for a system that allowed states to work independently as well as together in order to elect the leaders. That's why the electors are elected by the independent states. The number of electors was decided by the number of people in Congress, which gives an unfair representation to smaller states. For example, the state of Wyoming has a ratio of 120,000 people per electoral voter, and the state of Pennsylvania has a ratio of 436,000 people per electoral voter. And that means that one vote in Wyoming is worth 2.6 more votes from a vote in Pennsylvania. So whatever happened to the whole one person, one vote, and that each person has an equal say in the election. So other than misrepresentation, another negative of the Electoral College is that the Electoral College, due to its misrepresentation, doesn't necessarily reflect the popular vote. Like, for example, the 2000 election, George W. Bush won the election with 271 electoral votes over Al Gore's 266, and yet Al Gore had over 500,000 more votes in total than Bush did. And lastly, faithless electors are, because they don't have to vote for the candidate that their state chooses, you get electors that don't agree with their state and end up voting against what their state decided on.